Then next is which situations you can be fined and when you cannot be fined, etc. Then there are certain duties as well which you need to follow. For example, you need to stop whenever the police officer asks you to stop, or you do not have to bribe the police officer as it is an illegal offense. Then not to run away when you're caught. So generally people tend to just run away, but it's a duty cast upon you to not run away from the crime scene. Further duties are duties in case of accidents. What should you do when maybe you see an accident, or when you are involved with an accident and the person who has been hit by your car has been severely injured and you're still in a position to help him? Duty to report to the police officer. So in what circumstances you need to report to the police officer? Duty to report damage caused to the cars of the property, or duty to carry various documents while you're driving. So we'll see all these rights and duties in part B of this lecture. Part C, I'm going to tell you a few safety driving tips and how to overcome all these challenges that have been faced by the Act. So it's kind of a solution that will be provided, which may be implemented in the future. So under the Motor Vehicles Amendment Act of 2019, certain liberties have been given to the state government, such as with respect to imposing fines. So multiplier has been given from 1 to 10, wherein if the basic or the minimum fee or the penalty is ₹100, the states can incorporate a minimum of 100 rupees and a maximum of 1000 rupees as fine. The central government, however, hoped that metropolitan cities, where these offences have been committed in large numbers, maximum penalty will be imposed. However, states like Maharashtra, Gujarat, and West Bengal have expressed their dissent in the application of the Motor Vehicles Amendment Act of 2019. So let's see which states have dissented from the implementation of the Motor Vehicles Act, the first being Gujarat. So this is the first state to refuse the implementation of the 2019 Amendment Act. The Chief Minister, Vijay Rupani, has asked the transport officials to the state to take a look at the steep fines in the amendment provisions. And after consultation with the Road Transport Department, the state has decided to slash fines on triple riding by 90%. So initially, the original fine for triple seat riding under the Motor Vehicles Amendment Act of 2019 was ₹1,000. But the Gujarat government has decided to impose a minimum fine of ₹100 only. Similarly, the central law proposed a fine of 1,000 for pillion riders not wearing a helmet. However, the Gujarat government has decided to impose a meager fee of 500 rupees. Furthermore, again, there have been numerous such acts such as wearing a seat belt. The prescribed fee under the penalty under the Central Motor Vehicles Act has not been incorporated by the state of Gujarat. Furthermore, the second state is Uttarakhand. This is the second state which refused to implement the hefty fines. They announced the slew of relaxations and penalties imposed as per the new rule. The Uttarakhand minister said that driving without a license would now invite a fine of ₹2,500 instead of ₹5,000 as levied under the Motor Vehicles Amendment Act of 2019. Furthermore, driving without a license or driving by an underage driver would inculcate a fine of ₹2,500 instead of ₹5,000 as has been provided under the Central Motor Vehicles Act. Then those who have been declared ineligible to hold a license if found driving a vehicle will be imposed with a fine of ₹5,000 instead of 10,000 that has been proposed by the Amendment Act. We can say that these states have implemented the Act in some form or the other, whereas no such change has been made with respect to fines, the serious increase in fines that have been brought by the Motor Vehicles Amendment Act of 2019. But there are certain states, such as the state of Maharashtra and Odisha, which have not implemented the Motor Vehicles Amendment Act of 2019 at all. According to them, just by increasing the fines, their object is not to impose heavy penalty on their citizens, but their object is to attain road safety, which according to them cannot be attained by imposing hefty fines and by looting the public. Hence, they've refrained from the Central Motor Vehicles Amendment of 2019.